Good afternoon and a warm welcome to another edition of the World Today for the week. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria, Ibadan Zonal Station, comprising news, entertainment and feature. In the lineup, President Tinubu orders the EFCC to unfreeze Osun government's account. Lawmakers restate commitment to strengthening financial framework in aviation industry. On the foreign scene, Iran, Oman agree on transiting Strait of Hormuz. Russia refineries cripple as Ukraine launch retaliation. Heart of the matter is on checkmating frequent building collapse. My name is Emilia Ujimudi and I'm reading with
Remy or Molola. You can also listen to us on live stream on www.radionigeriabada.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Prem FM 93.5. As the rainy season continues, let us keep warm to prevent cold. Now, the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to immediately return to court and vacate the order freezing the account of the Osun State government. The President said the directive was necessary to protect public confidence in the democratic process, noting that the state was only days away from its governorship election. In a statement by the State House, the President was not opposed to the EFCC's exercise of its statutory powers, but expressed concern over the timing of the action. The EFCC had obtained the order as part of its investigation into alleged financial infractions involving the Osun State government.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, has reiterated the 10th Assembly's resolve to strengthen financial framework of the nation's aviation industry and enhance the capacity of aviation agencies to effectively manage and safeguard Nigeria's airspace. Dr. Abbas, who gave the assurance in Abuja while declaring open the public hearing on Civil Aviation Amendment Bill 2026 and the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency Amendment Bill 2026, underscored the need to ensure investors' confidence in the industry. He observed that the first legislative framework seeks to amend the Civil Aviation Act 2022 to provide for the automated remittance of funds accruing to aviation agencies, revise the revenue sharing formula, reflects the renaming of the Accident Investigation Bureau to the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, and for related matters.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, has urged residents of the Federal Capital Territory to remain calm following the earth tremor recorded in parts of Abuja. Dr. Alake also directed the Niger Geological Survey Agency (NGSA) to provide him with early updates on CMAC activities around the nation's capital for continuous assessment where necessary. Further engagement with relevant government agencies. The directive was contained in a statement issued yesterday by the Minister's Special Assistant on Media, Lara Weye-Wise. The NGSA had earlier confirmed that several buildings in Abuja experienced vibrations after an earth tremor on Tuesday. According to the agency, a CMAC monitoring station in Otako detected the tremor at exactly 11:23 a.m., stating that it originated from a depth of 1 kilometer and traveled 4 kilometers within 5 seconds.
The federal government has inaugurated the governing board of the National Board for Technical Education after more than 5 years without one. It also rolled out a fresh reform agenda aimed at repositioning technical and vocational education and training as a key driver of industrialization, job creation, and economic growth. At the inauguration ceremony in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, charged the board to fast-track reforms that would align technical education with industry needs, modernize curricula, certify skilled artisans, and strengthen Nigeria's competitiveness in the global economy. He described the inauguration as a major milestone in implementing President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which places education and human capital development at the center of the country's economic transformation.
Governor Seyi Makinde has reaffirmed its administration's commitment to fiscal sustainability, citizen-driven development, and cheaper public transportation across the state. Governor Makinde stated this during presentation of Budget Performance Report of Revenue and Expenditure of the state for first quarter and second quarter to all relevant stakeholders, organized by the Oyo State Budget and Economic Planning at the Secretariat, Ibadan. The governor, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musbah Babatunde, noted that his administration is tracking both revenue and expenditure to ensure that sectors in need of more support receive additional resources before the end of the fiscal year. He said the 26th budget framework is built around meeting revenue target while managing a 77.5% expenditure plan, adding that the state is now prioritizing projects with high multiplier effect on the economy. Governor Makinde, however, stated that his government will soon distribute 50 electric buses across the state to serve intra-city routes and ensure inter-local government transport to reduce transport fare.
Staying with the governor, he has called for stronger collaboration between government and faith-based institutions to build a just, peaceful and opportunity-driven Nigeria. The governor made the call while declaring open the 15th Biennial 2026 Conference of the Methodist Church Nigeria, Ibadan. He emphasized that nations are not built by governments alone, but also by institutions that shape values, strengthen families, and inspire hope. Governor Seyi Makinde also used the occasion to restate his intention to run for President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2027, pledging to provide leadership that fosters unity. The governor thanked the Methodist Church for its enduring contribution to the nation, saying for well over a century, the church has not only preached the gospel, but has invested in education, healthcare, community development, and the moral formation of generations of Nigerians. Delivering his address on the conference's theme, I will fight for you, the prelate of the Methodist Church Nigeria, His Eminence Dr. Oliver Ali Abba, urged the federal government to intensify efforts to secure lives and property against banditry, kidnapping, inflation, and other challenges.
The 2026 Common Entrance Examination has been held in Oyo State. A team of reporters who monitor the examination at some designated center in Ibadan observed that candidates arrived at their centers early. In an interview, some teachers said examination was peaceful as they did not encounter any challenge conveying their children to the centers. The teachers, however, noted that most of the pupils were uncomfortable due to the bad condition of the furniture at the examination centers.
Actually, there is no big challenges. I think we ask the parents to bring their children here while we convene them back to school after the exam.
The only thing that I want to go and solve now is the chair that they want to use for my pupils are not okay at all.
Some pupils from Lam Additional Model Primary School, Felele, United Missionary School, Molete, Ibadan, and others who were delighted explained that they found the questions easy even though they were nervous before the arrival of their question papers.
Little bit nervous.
It was very simple.
It went well, but the exam was not that easy.
I did it very well, and our invigilator was nice.
One of the school principals, who simply identified herself as Mrs. Akande, said adequate preparation was put in place to ensure that the examination was hitch-free.
At least 3 members of staff of the Kano State Road Traffic Agency, known as Karota, were hospitalized following a mob attack by some angry youths. The public relations officer of the agency, Mr. Abubakar Sharada, in a statement, says the incident occurred when a Sharn commercial bus was hit by a trailer at Kwana Dawaki town along Zaria Road. The statement adds that the truck driver who caused the accident fled while attention was focused on rescuing the passengers of the commercial bus and the injured Karota personnel. The managing director of Karota, Mr. Faisal Kabir, appealed to members of the public to respect and assist uniformed personnel on duty to maintain law and order on the highways.
Nigeria Bar Association (NBA) has faulted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) over the reported freezing of Osun State government bank accounts, saying the anti-graft agency lacked the constitutional power to impose a blanket restriction on the state's finances without due legal process. The EFCC had directed that no money be withdrawn from the Osun State government statutory allocation account as part of an ongoing investigation. A letter dated 5th August 2026 and signed by the Assistant Commander of the EFCC, Mr. Denike Babalola, for the Director of Investigation said the action follows suspicious movement of funds amid an ongoing investigation into alleged fraudulent handling of about 11 billion naira in ecological fund, intervention fund, and federal account allocation committee allocations. However, NBA President Mr. Afamosigwe, in an interview with newsmen, warned that any directive restricting withdrawal from accounts belonging to a state government would effectively cripple governance and amount to an abuse of power.
The Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS) has removed the officer in charge of the Ibara Medium Custodial Center in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, along with 2 other principal officers, pending investigations into the unauthorized use of a mobile phone by a death row inmate who went live on social media from custody. In a statement issued by its public relations officer, Ms. Jane Osuji, the service said the Controller General of Corrections, Mr. Sylvester Nwakuchi, ordered the removal of the affected officers to ensure a transparent and impartial investigation into the incident. The NCOS described the viral live stream as a serious breach of custodial security and a violation of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019, the service standing orders, and other regulations governing custodial operations. According to the statement, preliminary investigations confirmed that the inmate was unlawfully in possession of a prohibited mobile phone, which he used to access social media while in lawful custody. The service said the device has since been recovered during a search operation and secured as evidence, while the inmate has been transferred to another custodial facility under enhanced security pending the conclusion of the investigations.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has disclosed that about 18 states are currently under investigation over allegations bordering on the mismanagement of public funds. The Commission's Director of Public Affairs, Mr. Wilson Wujare, made the disclosure today in an interview with newsmen, but declined to name the states involved. Mr. Wujare stated this while responding to questions on the Commission's decision to restrict an Osun State government account, which he said was one of the several similar actions the EFCC had taken or was preparing to take against state governments. Mr. Wujare confirmed that the number ran into double digits.
The National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to the Ogun State government and security agencies to secure the release of 5 abducted students of Gateway ICT Polytechnic, Sakbade, and arrest the killers of a female student of DS Adigbinru ICT Polytechnic, Ewekuru. The association warned that it would embark on a peaceful mass protest across the state if its demands were not met within the next 72 hours. The association also urged the state government to send a high-powered delegation to condole with the family of Sekinat Ahmed, the student of DS Adigbinru ICT Polytechnic who was killed during a recent robbery attack, and visit another student currently receiving treatment for gunshot injuries at the Federal Medical Center at Abeokuta. Speaking during a press conference held at the Secretariat of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Ogun State Council, Abeokuta, the Secretary General of NANS, Comrade Oladimeji Uthman, said the students across Ogun tertiary institutions have continued to live in fear due to persistent cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, cult-related violence, rape, and other criminal activities.
The Rivers State Police Command says its operatives have busted a kidnapping syndicate and arrested 5 suspects in the Oyigbo local government area of the state. According to a statement issued by the command spokesperson, Blessing Agabi in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The suspects were nabbed during a coordinated operation by operatives in the area. She said the suspect confessed to the abduction during interrogation, saying they also admitted to terrorizing residents of the local government and its environs. Ms. Agbaje said efforts are ongoing to arrest other members of the criminal syndicates. The command assured President that it remains steadfast in its resolve to protect lives and property and urged members of the public to remain vigilant and continue to provide credible and timely information to assist the police in preventing crime and apprehending criminal elements.
If you have just joined us, this is The World Today, and here are the stories that made the headlines. President Tinubu has ordered EFCC to unfreeze Osun State government's account. Lawmakers have restated commitment to strengthening financial framework in the aviation industry. And still to come, Iran, Oman agree on transiting Strait of Hormuz, and Russia refineries cripple as Ukraine launch retaliation. Do stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
You're still with us on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria on the news. Now to the foreign scene. Iran says it has reached an agreement with Oman on a road for shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign Ministry spokesman Mr. Ismail Bakois, however, declined details on the arrangement, which said was in the final stages. Mr. Bakois warned that a deal with Oman will not guarantee safe navigation through the strait, arguing that the security remained impacted by the United States blockade of Iran's ports. He maintained that factors making the Strait of Hormuz insecure still exist on the part of the United States Naval Authority, which he said remain aggressive and threatening actions against Iran and its interests. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazan Bagabadi said the new roads will be temporary and could stay open for 2 to 4 months.
Garbage workers in southern Italy have recovered $1.15 million winning a lottery ticket after its owner mistakenly threw it into a trash bin, prompting an extensive search throughout a truckload of waste. The unnamed woman from the city of Bitonto had played her regular Saturday lottery numbers before visiting a local shop on Sunday to check the results. Report says the lottery terminal displayed the message non-payable, a standard notification indicating that the prize was too large to be redeemed at the retail outlet. Misinterpreting the message as meaning the ticket had not won, she threw it into a rubbish bin. Roberto Toscano, who is the administrator of waste management company SANB, said the woman later realized her mistake after a family member recognized that her numbers 2, 4, 8, 10 and 51 matched the winning combination.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the country's military has hit 2 Russian oil refineries in long-range attack. Zelensky says refineries in Bokostutan and Eurofran in Russia were hit, leading to huge clouds of black smoke seen over the city. Russia's regional governor called it the largest attack ever by enemy drones, saying 92 drones have been destroyed, with 3 homes catching fire. Across Russia, the military said it has intercepted and destroyed 605 Ukrainian drones in multiple regions, including Yaroslav.
Still on the foreign scene, an Indian court has found former Tehelka magazine editor Tarun Tejpal guilty of raping a former colleague, overturning his 2021 acquittal in a decade-old case. The GOA bench of the Bombay High Court said it was convicting Tejpal under sections of Indian law pertaining to rape and sexual harassment. Report says Tejpal risks a minimum punishment of 10 years in jail and a maximum of life imprisonment. He will be sentenced later today, although he has consistently denied the accusations against him and could appeal against the verdict in a higher court.
Now to the sporting scene. Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has warned his players against repeating the mistakes they made during the group stage as they head to the quarterfinals of the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco. He gave the warning after Nigeria booked a place in the last 8 with a commanding 6-2 victory over Egypt in their final Group C match yesterday. The victory ensured Nigeria finished top of Group C and set up a quarter-final clash with Cameroon in Casablanca on Sunday. Nigeria's qualification came at the end of a dramatic final day in Group C, with tournament debutant Malawi also progressing at Zambia's expense.
Ugandans are mourning the death of David Owori, a 27-year-old best-known footballer in that country. Report says he was beaten by suspected robbers near his home in the capital, Kampala. Police said Owori was fatally assaulted after resisting an attempt to steal his mobile phone and other belongings, prompting an outpouring of grief and renewed public anger over violent crime in Uganda. Owori captained sports like Club Villa, the Uganda Premier League record champions, where he played both as a right back and midfielder. He also represented the country's national team. Witnesses said a group of attackers hit the footballer with paving stones before robbing him of his belongings and fleeing, leaving him unconscious.
In today's Heart of the Matter, Funmilola Obagbaegu of a Current Affairs Unit writes on checkmating frequent building collapse.
Building collapse has become one of Nigeria's most disturbing urban tragedies. Hardly a year passes without reports of buildings giving way, leaving behind deaths, injuries, destroyed property, and grieving families. The collapse of a 3-story building in the Alakija area of Lagos State in June this year, which claimed several lives and left many others injured, once again exposed the dangers of poor construction practices and weak regulatory enforcement. Barely a year before the Lagos incident, another building under construction collapsed in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, highlighting that the problem is not limited to one state but has become a national concern. Experts have consistently linked many of these incidents to the use of substandard building material, poor workmanship, disregard for approved building plans, and inadequate supervision by qualified professionals. Another major concern is the increasing number of distressed and aging buildings that continue to house residents despite visible structural defects. Such buildings become death traps when timely repairs or demolition are ignored. Government regulatory agencies must intensify inspections at every stage of construction. Buildings that fail to meet approved standards should be sealed, while developers who violate regulations should face stiff penalties. Only qualified architects, engineers, builders, and quantity surveyors should be entrusted with construction projects. Professional standards must never be compromised. The Lagos State government recently attributed recurring building collapses to violations of safety regulations and the reoccupation of buildings that had already been declared unsafe. This highlights the importance of obeying official directives on stressed structures. Members of the public also have an important role to play. Residents should promptly report buildings showing visible cracks, excessive tilting, or other signs of structural weakness before disaster strikes. Financial institutions should ensure that construction projects they finance comply with approved building standards and engage certified professionals throughout the construction process. There is also a need for continuous public enlightenment on building safety. Awareness campaigns can help property owners and tenants understand the risk associated with unsafe structures. A nation cannot achieve sustainable development when preventable disasters continue to claim innocent lives. Safe buildings are essential for protecting lives, investments, and economic growth. The recurring cases of building collapse should serve as a wake-up call to governments, developers, professionals, and citizens alike. Preventing future tragedies requires collective responsibility and unwavering commitment to safety. As Nigeria continues to expand its cities and infrastructure, strict compliance with building regulations, regular inspections, and accountability must become the norm. Only then can the nation effectively checkmate the frequent collapse of buildings and safeguard the lives of its people.
That script on checkmating frequent building collapse was written by Funmi Lola Obagbaegun of our Current Affairs Unit and read by Belinda Quadri.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news on the world today. But before we go, here are the top stories. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to immediately return to court and vacate the order freezing the accounts of the Osun State government. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, has reiterated the 10th Assembly's resolve to strengthen financial framework of the nation's aviation industry and enhance the capacity of aviation agencies to effectively manage and safeguard Nigeria's airspace. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Iran says it has reached an agreement with Oman on a route for shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. And we also reported that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the country's military has hit 2 Russian oil refineries in long-range attacks.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Rotimi Famaki edited. I am Remi Omolola from my colleague
Emilia Ujemudia. Many thanks for joining us.